Fortunately for us, and unfortunately for this man, Special Counsel Jack Smith, the Trump classified documents case has been dismissed. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the classified documents case against President Donald Trump coming out of Florida being dismissed. Now, the reason why this was dismissed is because the judge, I believe Eileen Cannon, said that the special counsel, Jack Smith, shouldn't have been appointed and it was unconstitutional. Therefore, the whole case is dead. Now, some say the case could come back because it could go to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court could overturn this. But I don't think so, because if the Supreme Court is able to bring Jack Smith back and bring the case back, it could still get shot back down to a lower court where it could get reversed. So I don't see anything happening other than the case being thrown out. And of course, the timing is very convenient. We just had an assassination attempt on the president's life. So maybe they don't want to do any more ticky-tack BS like this. Okay, now, in case you have forgotten, this is when the classified documents case was first presented to us. Remember this, the picture that they had? And by the way, this was staged. They put those top secret things on top of that and arranged it on the floor. And then they get the Time magazine. This was completely staged by the feds. The documents did not quite look like this when they found them. Okay, so this was all BS. It was all bogus from the beginning. It was a way to try to get Trump out of the way because they didn't want him to run. They didn't want him to be the president anymore. And of course, it backfired, and it looks like Trump is going to he might win every single state in the union at this point. I mean, it's really, really crazy out here. Now, before I go any further, let's get to a news clip. And of course, I will link to the clip in the description. As always, if you're an IG, visit a link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
So this Fox News alert now, we have major breaking news on one of the cases facing the former president, Donald Trump. Specifically, the documents case based out of Palm Beach, Florida. For more on that, David Spun tracking it in Washington, D.C. And David, I'll allow you to deliver this major headline.
Judge Eileen Cannon has dismissed the classified documents case against Donald Trump in Florida. This is massive news. We did not see this coming at all. This is a case that she tentatively postponed to a later date. The original trial was set for the end of May. She moved it back a couple of months, though not setting a date. She has just dismissed it in a 93-page court document saying...
Now let's pause right here. The case should never been brought. The case was BS from the beginning. So what was the case that they had against Trump? If you don't remember, I'll give you a quick refresher. Basically, what they said was Trump took documents from the White House home to Mar-a-Lago, and he shouldn't have done it. Although presidents have the power to declassify documents. Oh, these are classified documents. He can't take those with him, but presidents have that power. Now, I don't know what the argument was. Maybe they were saying he was not the president when the documents were taken. I don't know how that works. How do you gain access to the documents if you're not the president anymore? So he was a president, but maybe the second part was, oh, he didn't declassify them specifically through a certain procedure. It's like, come on, this is the president, and he had the documents in what really was a secure area in Mar-a-Lago, okay, locked in a specific place. It wasn't going to get out to the general public, and it wasn't really anything in there that was that sensitive. Now, let's talk about Joe Biden, who had his documents in a garage that was easily seen right next to his Corvette out there, I believe in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. So you got that going on. There's nothing, okay? And Biden took those documents when he was the vice president, not the president. And the president has the power to declassify, and that can't be overruled. Trump had that power. They want to try to prosecute him for it. Biden did not have that power, and there's not even as much as a question about his classified documents in the garage. But I'm getting triggered, so I digress.
saying that Jack Smith, the special counsel's appointment, violates the appropriations clause and the appointments clause of the United States Constitution. In layman's terms, she's saying that he was not appointed lawfully and not appointed appropriately. I'm sure we're going to be hearing from the Department of Justice about this momentarily, as Attorney General Merrick Garland believes that he had every right, and his team believes every right, that he could appoint Jack Smith as special counsel.
This case shouldn't have gone forward. They're going to try to fight it, although they know that the case is BS themselves. This is part of the whole lawfare thing against Trump. If we're able to get Trump out of the way, if he can't become the president, then we've achieved our goal. We're going to put this decrepit old man in there one more time. If he survives, great. If he doesn't, who cares? We're going to put in Kamala Harris, who's just as incompetent as Joe Biden at 1,000 years old. And that'll be how it works, because they're not going to run the country. We run the country behind their, behind the scenes. We're going to put our own people in there, our consultants and people like this. They will be the ones who make the decisions for America, not the president. They will have no power at all. They'll be an empty suit at best, a figurehead at best. But I digress. Oh, and before I keep on moving, this is why they hated Trump so much, because he was not going to be a figurehead. He was not going to be an empty suit. He was going to be an actual leader. They don't want the presidents to be leaders. They want them to be PR specialists, like a CEO of a company that was appointed by the shareholders. But let's keep on moving.
We're going through this right now. It's 93 pages. The printer is cranking up behind me, page by page. But essentially, the bottom line here is that this documents case goes completely away for Donald Trump. There was a hearing that was originally scheduled for next week to talk more about this appointments issue. Judge Cannon issues this on the day of the beginning of the RNC. So right now, Donald Trump still has one pending case against him in federal court. That's here in Washington, D.C. That's his alleged attempts to try to overturn the 2020 election. Special counsel Jack Smith received a blow to that case just a couple of weeks ago with the Supreme Court. That seems to be somewhat delayed right now. But this is big news. No question that this case is completely dismissed. Bill?
What's interesting is that, David, you said that's a 93-page ruling. I'm kind of curious as to why it would take so many pages, because if based on what you're saying, she's not ruling on the merits of the case. She's ruling that the special counsel should never have been appointed.
That's a really good question. It's a really good point. If it's about Jack Smith being appointed and that was unconstitutional, then why did we need 93 pages? Why do we need so many pages? I mean, I don't understand.
And then I wonder about the how that will reverberate throughout the Department of Justice, because does that mean that other situations like this would also be dismissed?
It's a great question, and we're waiting to get some clarity from DOJ. I'm just reading here on page 2 of 93. It says the Appointments Clause sets as a default rule that all officers of the United States, whether inferior or principal, must be appointed by the president and confirmed by the Senate. Jack Smith was not confirmed by the Senate. I assume Dana and Bill will hear an argument from DOJ that past special counsels, John Durham, Robert Mueller, just to name a few in recent memory, also were not confirmed in that way and were appointed and were allowed to continue their work. So that's what we're probably going to hear from DOJ. But a major coup and major win for former President Trump, who comes off this last weekend.
So yeah, shout out to Trump. Shout out to Judge Eileen Cannon. And shout out to Jack Smith for taking the L. Yet another L, a well-deserved L, a well-deserved loss for you, sir. You really shouldn't even be involved in this. All of this stuff is bogus. As I close, I want to say this. A lot of the so-called crimes that Trump is being accused of and or prosecuted of, and the guilty situation in the Stormy Daniels case, a lot of these things shouldn't even be brought against anybody, let alone a former president. I mean, come on. You paid somebody some money after you had a consensual relationship with them. How was that a crime? I don't understand. And then classified documents, although the president has the power to declassify classified documents in the White House and bring them home, that shouldn't be anything. He has the power to do it. What's the problem? Oh, we didn't do it appropriately. He didn't follow certain steps. Well, the vice president does not have the power to classify documents at all in any kind of way. But the vice president, Joe Biden, has documents from when he was under the Obama administration in his garage next to his Corvette, not secured at all. Where's the prosecution there? You see what I'm saying? It's rules for thee, not for me. The lawfare thing is out of control, and we the people are sick of it. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your take on the classified documents case being completely thrown out, dismissed? Will it come back? Will it go to the Supreme Court? Will the Supreme Court undismiss the case? Will it go back down to a low court and then they're going to dismiss it again? And if that's going to happen, why would the Supreme Court go through all of that? I think they might just leave lying dogs lie, but whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. This whole thing, the lawfare stuff is ridiculous. And I think that the assassination attempt underlines the actual purpose of all this is to keep Trump out of the White House by any means necessary. We see what some will do to keep him out. I'm not saying that the whole assassination attempt of the 20-year-old on the rooftop that should have been easily secured, that was only 150 yards away. I'm not saying that was an inside thing, but I'm saying some people will go through any measure, whether they be in the government or a normie, to keep Trump out of the way. That's going to just galvanize us, as I said previously, to go out and vote for the president more. So nice try, Jack Smith. Nice try, Department of Justice, but it ain't really going to work out in your favor. Too bad, so sad. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.